The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain and so obvious and so simple. And yet, everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. This is the real secret of life. To be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. And instead of calling it work, realize it as play. Waking up to who you are requires letting go of who you imagine yourself to be. By replacing fear of the unknown with curiosity, we open ourselves up to an infinite stream of possibility. We can let fear rule our lives. Or we can become childlike with curiosity, pushing our boundaries, leaping out of our comfort zones, and accepting what life puts before us. No amount of anxiety makes any difference to anything that is going to happen. We are living in a culture entirely hypnotized by the illusion of time, in which the so-called present moment is felt as nothing but an infinitesimal hairline between a causative past and an absorbingly important future. We have no present. Our consciousness is almost completely preoccupied with memory and expectation. We do not realize that there never was, is, nor will be any other experience than present experience. We are therefore out of touch with reality. Stop measuring days by degree of productivity, and start experiencing them by degree of presence. Life is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be had. The future is a concept. It doesn't exist. There is no such thing as tomorrow. There never will be. Because time is always now. That's one of the things we discover when we stop talking to ourselves and stop thinking. We find there is only present. Only an eternal now. You are the universe, experiencing itself. The truth is revealed by removing things that stand in its light. An art not unlike sculpture, in which the artist creates, not by building, but by hacking away. We must abandon completely the notion of blaming the past for any kind of situation we're in and reverse our thinking and see that the past always flows back from the present. That now is the creative point of life. So you see, it's like the idea of forgiving somebody. You change the meaning of the past by doing that. Also, watch the flow of music. The melody as it's expressed is changed by notes that come later. Just as the meaning of a sentence. You wait till later to find out what the sentence means. The present is always changing the past. To go out of your mind at least once a day is tremendously important. By going out of your mind, you come to your senses. People sometimes fail to live because they are always preparing to live. If you love a person, you say to that person, "Look, I love you." Whatever that may be. I've seen quite a bit of it and I know there's lots that I haven't seen. But still, it's you and I want you to be what you want to be. And I won't be happy if I've got you in a cage. You'd be a bird without song. All that you see out in front of you is how you feel inside your head. As muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. It could be argued that those who sit quietly and do nothing are making one of the best possible contributions to a world in turmoil. When a man no longer confuses himself with the definition of himself that others have given him, he is at once universal and unique. Everything in the world is gloriously meaningless. You can make any human activity into meditation, simply by being completely with it, and doing it just to do it. Stay in the center, and you will be ready to move in any direction. Don't hurry anything. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about what progress you're making. Just be entirely content to be aware of what is. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand nor fearful clinging to the past on the other. It consists in being sensitive to each moment, in regarding it as utterly new and unique, in having the mind open and wholly receptive. Jesus Christ knew he was God. So wake up and find out eventually who you really are. In our culture, of course, they'll say you're crazy and you're blasphemous. And they'll either put you in jail or in a nut house, which is pretty much the same thing. However, if you wake up in India and tell your friends and relations, "My goodness, I've just discovered that I'm God," they'll laugh and say, "Oh, congratulations. At last you found out." The you who you think you are does not exist. Real religion is the transformation of anxiety into laughter. We thought of life by analogy with a journey, a pilgrimage, which had a serious purpose at the end, and the thing was to get to that end. Success or whatever it is. Maybe heaven after you're dead. But we missed the point the whole way along. It was a musical thing and you were supposed to sing or to dance while the music was being played. You, yourself, are the eternal energy which appears as this universe. You didn't come into this world. You came out of it, like a wave from the ocean. The destination of life is this eternal moment. Take a deep breath and tell us your deepest, darkest secret, so we can wipe our brow and know that we're not alone. If we are unduly absorbed in improving our lives, we may forget altogether to live them. Basically, there is simply nothing to worry about, because you yourself are the eternal energy of the universe. Life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now. And when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. The only serious side effect of marijuana is that you might get arrested. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. The sound of the rain needs no translation. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts, so he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusion. Time is a social institution and not a physical reality. There is no such thing as time in the natural world. The world of stars and waters, clouds, mountains and living organisms. There is such a thing as rhythm, rhythm of tides, rhythm of biological processes. There is rhythm and there is motion. Time is a way of measuring motion.